another one that I think, Chris, you were talking about how some clients ask, do we have to do our exercises?
Oh, it's a great one.
Yeah.
That was like literally my last client. He's like, so, because we're all like, I think instinctively we just want the easy route. Like that, let's be honest. You know, it's like we want the quick fix. We want like the fast solution, instant gratification in all areas of life. Like this isn't just physical. I think this just translates to like how we are as humans and how we were brought up. So like kind of going back to our root and like just the nature of our body is based on movement. And it's like hard to like come back to that realization. But in doing that, like you come back to your body. And so I was telling my client, like, you didn't get here because of like you were, and I didn't mean this in like a mean way, but I'm being honest. Like most of the time when we go off balance, it's not just one area of our life, right? That transpires to all areas of our life. And it's usually like that we lose that gap of awareness, like on our physical self, or, you know, it could be outside of that, could be emotional, but at the same time, like when we are doing our menu, that is like our reserved time for ourselves. And it's like, it was funny because he was like, so like just a squeezing of the butt cheek, like that's like bringing you back to your body. And it seems like so like monotonous sometimes, or like, well, it's just something so small. Like how could that have such a big impact? But it's like you herniating a disc or tearing a labrum, like probably was a small movement that just set off everything else going on. So it's like those little things over time, like create something that's balanced. And in that process, so like the daily disciplines of that is the magic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you have anything to go off of that. But.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, it's funny when you were like, it probably is a small movement that got you there. I mean, not too long ago, we had a client who was like, I have a torn rotator cuff. And of course you asked like, oh, you know, did something happen? And he was like, I was reaching for my coffee.
Yes.
Last I checked, reaching for coffee is not a rigorous contact sport. And so this totally means that over time, your body got to this position without you even realizing it. And then there's one simple movement that breaks the camel's back, so to speak.
Totally.
And so you can go the opposite direction with that, though. Like incrementally, you can get your body back to a better position. And you might not even be realizing what you're doing, but slowly but surely, you're gaining the benefits of that improvement. Just like anything else we learn, right?
Yeah.
It's
like kind of like I like to look at it in frames of like learning any new skill, like kind of like learning a language, you know, like, okay, I miss a day. Yeah, maybe my skills aren't as sharp when I go to speak Spanish or whatever it is, but like you can double up. And he answered his own question after that, because he was like, he said something like, oh, when I used to study in school, I used to wait till the end of the week and then study, and it like never really worked. Like I couldn't retain the information. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to record this for our live like feed, because you just answered your own question. Like when we try to shove everything into one, it's like information overload.
Totally.
Like we've all done it too, where it's like, let me just try all my menus. And then you're like, wow, like I just feel like I just overdid it, you know? And it's like
panic
the whole thing, it's like counterintuitive, you know what I mean? It's like the concept is less is more, but like more. It's just like, no, that's just not how it works.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and muscles are like, it's like any kind of nerve pathway to the brain too, you know, like when you're waking up new neuro pathways and new muscles, they need that stimulus on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And if you miss a day, like that's okay, but like it's also good to have those days, because you're like, oh, I felt like a little off, or you know what I mean? Like just having that gauge of awareness is like huge in terms of progress.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like with anything too, I mean, usually when people ask me, you know, do I have to do this consistently? I had a client ask me today, so when I finish with my series, am I done? You know?
Yeah.
And that is so similar to, say, if you're working out with a trainer, or even if you're not working out with a trainer and you're wanting to get in better shape, you're wanting to lose weight maybe, and you're like, all right, well, once I hit my goal weight, can I go back to eating pizza and drinking beer and having fun frequently? And the answer, well, to frequently is no. And moderation is important. Of course, we have to enjoy things in life. But if you were to reach your goal weight, you're going to that will slip through your fingers if you were to discontinue these habits. And it's the same with the menus, you know, like this becomes a part of your life.
Yeah. And it's like, to me, it's not, it doesn't have to be like menu, life. And then there's no like application in between that. You know what I mean? Like people are so, they're like that. They're like, so can I just like do my menu and then like go back to like the old routine that like, you know, like CrossFit or like, you know, like mindless garden work where I just kind of like shut off. Like, like the point is like to apply the principles. It's like you learning Spanish and then going to Mexico and not using the language that you've learned when, you know what I mean? Like that's, you can apply it to diet, language, like any of those. You have to, it has to mend into your life. Like we're teaching you a lifestyle.
Yeah. And another thing too is I think a lot of times people get overwhelmed when something is new with, well, how does this fit in and how am I going to make the time for this and how important is it? And gradually as they experience it, the idea is it's not going to be this chore that you don't want to have to do. It's going to be something where like, I know I dance better when I do my menu, right?
Totally.
Like, I know that if I want to go for a run, I will be a lot happier if I do my menu first. And so you're going to eventually, once you get used to it, I think it's not going to feel like this task that I have to check off the list, but something that, no, I want to do this because I know how it feels when I do. And I know how it feels when I don't. And I don't prefer that.
Yeah, totally. And it's not like, to me, it's kind of like, why do people practice meditation? Like they know they feel better. And like Egoscue is somewhat of a meditation of the body to put you in the right position. So like, at first, I think that is like, it is a chore because it's something new. So it's like, you might have to like cut time or like make time, which that's a sacrifice. And we get that. That's all a part of you committing to your health now. Like you're taking responsibility and you're trying something new. And I feel like in the very beginning, like when I first started Egoscue or when I start any new task or new, take on anything new, like you have to go into it with a sense of curiosity, not like I'm trying to get to the end point and like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, perfect posture. Like I strive for Freddy function, but that doesn't like, it doesn't change. I still need to do the little small things. You know what I mean? Like I still need to stay curious and be like, okay, what does my body need today? This is how it feels today. This is how it feels tomorrow. So,